Welcome to part 48 of the Ultimate Unsolved Mysteries Iceberg, where we explore true crime, urban legends, mysterious disappearances, myths and legends, internet mysteries, and more. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. The Tully Monster. The Tully Monster, scientifically known as Tullimonstrum gregarium, is one of the most peculiar and controversial creatures discovered in the fossil record. It lived approximately 300 million years ago during the Pennsylvanian period and has been primarily found in the Mason Creek fossil beds in Illinois. Named after the amateur fossil hunter Francis Tully, who discovered it in 1958, this creature has perplexed scientists for decades due to its unique and bizarre anatomy. The Tully monster's physical characteristics are quite unusual. It possessed a long, flexible proboscis ending in a claw-like structure, eyes on stalks extending from either side of its head, and a segmented body resembling that of a modern-day worm. Despite its strange features and fearsome name, the largest specimens of the Tully monster only reached about a foot in length. For years, the classification of the Tully monster remained contentious. Initial theories varied widely, with some scientists suggesting it could be a worm, mollusk, or even an arthropod. However, a significant breakthrough occurred in 2016 when a team of researchers from Yale University and the Field Museum in Chicago conducted a detailed study of over 1,200 Tully monster fossils. They proposed that the creature was a vertebrate, closely related to modern lampreys. The basis for this classification rested on several anatomical features that the researchers identified. They pointed out the presence of a notochord, which functions similarly to a spinal cord in vertebrates, as well as gill structures and cartilaginous elements. These features are typically found in vertebrate animals. Additionally, the Tully monster exhibited features of complex eyes, with features akin to those of vertebrate eyes, suggesting a camera-like eye structure. Despite these findings, the debate over the Tully monster's classification is not fully settled. Some paleontologists argue against the vertebrate classification, citing inconsistencies in the anatomical evidence. For instance, the structure identified as a notochord in the Tully monster does not entirely match those found in other known vertebrates. Moreover, some researchers suggest that the features interpreted as vertebrate traits could instead be remnants of the gut or other non-vertebrate structures. Critics also highlight that notochords are not always preserved in fossils, adding complexity to the classification. Further complicating the issue, a study published in 2017 challenged the vertebrate theory, presenting alternative interpretations of the Tully monster's anatomical features. The study pointed out that the supposed notochord extends in a way that is atypical for known vertebrates and lacks other definitive vertebrate characteristics, such as an inner ear structure. While significant strides have been made in understanding the Tully monster, its exact place in the tree of life remains a topic of ongoing research and debate. This creature's unusual combination of primitive and advanced features continues to captivate scientists and the public, and provoke new hypotheses about its nature and evolution. Also, let me know in the comments below if you would like me to cover more paleontology-related topics. I have a feeling I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask anyway. Also, this is another amazing underwater mystery suggestion by frequent contributor Lauren Redmond. The South Pole poisoning. In the icy expanse of Antarctica, an extremely puzzling incident occurred at the Amundsen-Scott South Pole Station in 2000. This remote research station, located at the southernmost point on Earth, is known for its extreme conditions and isolation. The station is home to scientists and support staff conducting crucial research, often in harsh, dark winters. Amid this isolated environment, the mysterious poisoning of Dr. Rodney Marks, an Australian astrophysicist, shocked the small community and the wider world. On May 11, 2000, Dr. Marks fell ill, experiencing symptoms including stomach pain, nausea, and difficulty breathing. Despite receiving medical attention from the station's sole physician, Dr. Thompson, his condition rapidly worsened. When Marks first fell ill, the doctor initially treated him for what appeared to be a severe case of gastroenteritis. Given the symptoms and the isolated setting, Dr. Thompson's ability to diagnose and treat was limited to the resources available on site. Despite his best efforts to alleviate Dr. Marks's symptoms, Marks's condition deteriorated rapidly over the next 36 hours, leading to his untimely passing. The incident initially seemed inexplicable, given the isolated and controlled environment of the station. Due to Antarctica's remote location, an autopsy could not be immediately performed. Dr. Marks's body was flown to New Zealand, the closest nation with the necessary facilities. The autopsy revealed that Dr. Marks had died from methanol poisoning, a highly toxic substance commonly found in antifreeze, solvents, and some laboratory reagents. This revelation raised numerous questions and theories about how and why he had ingested methanol. One of the first theories considered was accidental ingestion. Methanol is sometimes present in laboratory environments, and it's possible that Dr. Marks might have unknowingly consumed a contaminated substance. However, the controlled nature of the station's supply chain and the careful handling of chemicals made this scenario quite unlikely. Moreover, methanol poisoning typically requires consuming a significant amount of the substance, making accidental ingestion an unsatisfactory explanation, in my view. Another theory suggested that Dr. Marks might have intentionally ingested methanol. This theory faced significant skepticism, especially from those who knew him well. Dr. Marks was described as a dedicated scientist and a vibrant individual with a promising career. Colleagues and friends found it hard to believe that he would willingly consume methanol. Furthermore, there were no indications or documented evidence of any such intentions. The isolated nature of the station meant that the possibility of foul play couldn't be ignored. However, the small community at the South Pole Station consisted of a close-knit group of professionals working towards common scientific goals. No evidence suggested any conflicts or motivations that could explain such an act. The station's limited population and the absence of any clear suspects further complicated this theory. Investigations into the incident were conducted by various agencies, including the New Zealand Police and the United States Antarctic Program. Despite thorough examinations, no conclusive evidence emerged to explain how Dr. Marks had ingested methanol. The investigation faced numerous challenges, including the logistical difficulties of conducting inquiries in such a remote and extreme environment. The mystery of Dr. Rodney Marks' poisoning remains unsolved. The incident has led to increased scrutiny of safety protocols and chemical handling procedures in such remote research stations, aiming to prevent similar occurrences in the future. The death of Charles Bravo. The case of Charles Bravo, a British lawyer who passed away under mysterious circumstances in 1876, has baffled the public for a century and a half. Charles Bravo was a young lawyer who married Florence Ricardo, a wealthy widow, in December 1875. Their marriage was unfortunately abusive, with Bravo's controlling and violent behavior towards Florence being well known. Further, adding to this unfortunate situation, Florence entered the marriage with a history of alcoholism. This dynamic created a volatile environment at their home, the Priory, in Balham, London. On the evening of April 18, 1876, Charles Bravo fell gravely ill after ingesting antimony, a toxic substance often used in small doses as a medicine. Despite the best efforts of several doctors, including the then-renowned physician Sir William Gull, Bravo's condition worsened, leading to his demise on April 21, 1876. Notably, during his illness, Bravo did not accuse anyone of poisoning him, nor did he explain how he had ingested the antimony. The case prompted two separate inquests. The first concluded with an open verdict, while the second suggested willful poisoning, but did not charge anyone due to insufficient evidence. The public and media were captivated by the scandalous details that emerged, including Florence's previous relationship with Dr. James Manby Gully. Dr. Gully was an older physician she had been involved with before marrying Bravo. Also, yes, the two physicians in this story are named Dr. Gull and Dr. Gully, respectively, so no need to rewind to check if they're the same person. This relationship, along with Bravo's volatile nature, led many to speculate about potential motives and suspects. One prominent theory suggests that Bravo might have been administering small doses of antimony to Florence to control her drinking and accidentally poisoned himself. Another theory posits that Florence, driven by her unhappy marriage and possibly under the influence of Dr. Gully, could have poisoned Bravo either deliberately or accidentally. The housekeeper also came under suspicion, especially after she changed her statements multiple times during the investigations. Dr. Gully himself was considered a suspect due to his past relationship with Florence and his medical expertise. Another suspect was George Griffiths, the coachman, who had access to antimony used for treating horses and bore a grudge against Bravo after being dismissed from his job. However, Griffiths had an alibi as he was working elsewhere at the time of Bravo's poisoning, and it was deemed unlikely that he roped an associate into the dark task. The mystery deepened as various individuals gave conflicting testimonies. Florence's inconsistent statements and her hurried consultations with Dr. Gully during Bravo's illness raised further suspicions. Despite the intense scrutiny, no conclusive evidence pointed to a single perpetrator, leaving the case unresolved. Interestingly, Florence passed away 2 years later due to alcohol poisoning, which some have suggested raises suspicions on her. However, I note that Florence had a history of alcohol abuse even prior to her marriage to Charles Bravo, putting significant doubt on this theory. Further, she had been widowed twice, and had survived at least one highly abusive marriage, and may have been engaging in self-medicating behavior, to use modern terminology. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Jimmy here. Let me take a brief moment to promote my channel. If you're enjoying my content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and the notification bell. Also, if you really want to take it to the next level, please consider signing up for a YouTube membership or a Patreon membership. You can support for as little as 99 cents a month. Benefits include access to exclusive videos from my early days as a YouTuber, shoutouts at certain tiers, and the satisfaction of helping keeping this channel running. Also, remember to join the Discord as well. We've got just over 100 members at this point. Beer to Wheel, the land nobody owns. Bir Tawil is a unique geographical anomaly, an 800 square mile area between Egypt and Sudan that remains unclaimed by any nation. This unclaimed status stems from historical boundary disputes that date back to colonial times and persist to this day, making Bir Tawil one of the few land areas on Earth not claimed by any recognized state. And as you will see in this segment, there are a number of unrecognized states that are eager to claim the area. The origins of the beer towel issue trace back to the late 19th century when the Anglo-Egyptian Condominium Agreement of 1899 was established. This agreement set the border between Egypt and Sudan at the 22nd parallel. However, in 1902, a new administrative boundary was drawn to better reflect the actual use of the land by local tribes. This adjustment placed Bir Tawil under Egyptian administration and the Halib Triangle under Sudanese control. This redrawing aimed to accommodate the nomadic Ababda tribe's grazing needs in Bir Tawil and the Beja tribe's settlement in the Halib Triangle. However, these overlapping claims have led to a unique situation where Egypt and Sudan each claim the more valuable Halib Triangle and reject claims over Bir Tawil. If either country were to claim Bir Tawil, it would weaken their claim over the Halib Triangle, resulting in a diplomatic stalemate that has left Bir Tawil as terra nullius, or nobody's land. Basically, the Halib Triangle is economically useful, while Bir Tawil is a desolate wasteland in comparison. Bir Tawil is characterized by its harsh, arid environment. The area lacks permanent settlements, and its topography includes mountains such as Jabal Tawil and seasonal waterways like Wadi Tawil. The climate is extremely hot and dry, with temperatures often exceeding 104 degrees Fahrenheit for much of the year. The lack of water and arable land makes it unsuitable for agriculture or significant human habitation. But this is not the end of the case of Bir Tawil. Despite its harsh conditions, Bir Tawil has seen a series of curious claims by individuals seeking to establish micronations. In 2014, American Jeremiah Heaton traveled to Bir Tawil and declared it the Kingdom of North Sudan, intending to fulfill his daughter's dream of becoming a princess. His claim, like those of others, has not been recognized by any government or international body. Other attempts include claims by a wealthy Indian businessman who proclaimed himself the ruler of a kingdom in the region, and various Russian adventurers. Contrary to the popular belief that Bir Tawil is entirely uninhabited, the area is frequented by nomadic tribes, particularly the Ababda and Bishari tribes, who use it for grazing. Wait, hold on a second. I wrote here that there was a, quote, popular belief about Bir Tawil. I'm fairly certain there are no popular beliefs about Bir Tawil outside the people living directly in the region. Anyway, back to the inhabitants of Bir Tawil. These tribes have historical ties to the land, and any attempts by outsiders to claim ownership are viewed with hostility. The region is also known for extremely small-scale gold mining operations, primarily staffed by workers from the Darfur region of Sudan. While Bir Tawil is generally presented in a somewhat mysterious way, a look into the history shows that the reasons for the present situation are well understood. Unsinkable Sam, the cat who made waves by staying afloat. Sam the cat, also known as Oscar during his time in German naval service, is one of the most remarkable non-bear related animal stories from World War II. This cat is said to have survived 3 shipwrecks, earning his legendary nickname. But before we delve deeper into Sam's story, it is necessary to consider what role cats played on ships. A ship's cat was a vital crew member traditionally kept on board vessels to control rodents. These cats help prevent damage to cargo, particularly food supplies, and protect the ship's structural integrity from gnawing pests. Rodents can also spread disease, so cats contribute to the overall health and safety of the crew. Additionally, ship's cats offer companionship to sailors, alleviating loneliness and boosting morale during long voyages. Further, their keen senses also serve as an informal early warning system for environmental changes or approaching dangers, adding another layer of security. But I digress. Let's get back to Unsinkable Sam. While the exact details of Sam's story have elements of myth and mystery, the core facts remain largely the same. Sam's journey began on the German battleship Bismarck, which was launched in 1939 and commissioned in 1940. The Bismarck was one of the largest and most powerful battleships ever built by Germany. On May 18, 1941, Bismarck set sail on its first and only mission. During the Battle of the Denmark Strait on May 24, 1941, Bismarck engaged the British ships HMS Hood and HMS Prince of Wales. The engagement led to the sinking of Hood, but Bismarck was heavily damaged and eventually sunk 3 days later on May 27, 1941. Amidst the chaos, it is believed that Sam, a black and white cat, managed to survive. The story goes that Sam was found floating on a board by the British destroyer HMS Cossack. The sailors aboard Cossack took him in, and he quickly became the ship's mascot. Cossack continued its service, but on October 24, 1941, it was torpedoed by the German submarine U-563. The damaged ship was towed back to Gibraltar, but it sank 4 days later due to severe structural damage. Remarkably, Sam survived this ordeal as well and was found clinging to a piece of shreckage. He was then transferred to HMS Ark Royal, an aircraft carrier. But as you may have guessed, Sam's time on Ark Royal was short-lived. On November 14, 1941, Ark Royal was torpedoed by the German submarine U-81. Despite efforts to save the carrier, it sank the following day. Sam was again found floating on debris and was rescued. After this third shipwreck, Sam was given the name Unsinkable Sam. He was later transferred to HMS Legion and eventually retired to a seaman's home in Belfast. The story of Unsinkable Sam is not without its mysteries and skepticism. One of the main points of contention is the lack of concrete evidence and consistent records. While the tale is widely circulated and has become a popular wartime legend, there are no official naval records that confirm the presence of a cat named Sam on these ships. The story largely relies on anecdotal accounts and sailors' testimonies, which can sometimes be embellished over time. Another mystery surrounding Unsinkable Sam is his origin. Some versions of the story claim that Sam was originally named Oscar and was a ship's cat on Bismarck from the beginning. Others suggest that he was a stray picked up at some point before Bismarck's final voyage. Despite the uncertainties, the story of Unsinkable Sam has captured the imaginations of many, and in my head canon, he's definitely real. The case of the levitating saint. Saint Joseph of Cupertino, born in June 1603 in Cupertino, Italy, is an intriguing historical figure. This phenomenon, which earned him the nickname the Flying Saint, is both fascinating and mysterious, providing ample material for historical and theological discussions. Joseph's early life was marked by significant hardships. His father, a poor carpenter, died before Joseph was born, leaving his family in severe debt. Consequently, Joseph's mother was forced to give birth to him in a stable. This nativity-inspired origin story is said to have influenced his spiritual development. From a young age, he exhibited a deep devotion to prayer, often falling into religious ecstasies. These trances sometimes resulted in episodes of levitation, particularly during Mass or private prayer sessions. Despite apparent intellectual limitations, Joseph felt a strong calling to religious life. He initially faced rejection from the Franciscans due to his perceived lack of education and aptitude. However, his persistence paid off, and he was eventually accepted into the order. Ordained as a priest in 1628, his levitations became more frequent and widely known. Joseph's levitations were not merely private occurrences. They often happened in public, drawing large crowds and considerable attention. These events were so disruptive that he was moved between various friaries and was even subjected to investigation by the Inquisition. Although the examiners found no evidence of wrongdoing, his superiors decided to confine him to more remote locations to minimize the disturbances his levitations caused. One of the most famous instances of Joseph's levitation occurred during a papal audience. Witnesses reported that he rose into the air while in a state of religious ecstasy. This and similar events contributed to his growing reputation as a mystic with divine favor. Several theories have been proposed to explain Joseph's levitations. Skeptics suggest that Joseph's feats could have been misunderstood leaps or jumps, mistaken for levitation by awestruck onlookers. However, to me, this seems unlikely unless there was an element of mass hysteria surrounding Joseph, which there may have been. Others propose that his experiences might be linked to severe ascetic practices, including extreme fasting, which could have induced altered states of consciousness. Some modern interpretations even explore scientific explanations. For example, the Casimir effect, a quantum phenomenon where certain conditions can create repulsive forces at a microscopic level, has been speculated upon. However, as far as I can tell, absolutely no concrete scientific evidence supports this as a cause for human levitation. Joseph's life and miracles were not without controversy. The Protestant Reformation had created a climate of skepticism towards miracles, which were often dismissed as either frauds or diabolical in origin. This skepticism extended to Joseph's levitations, which some viewed as evidence of demonic activity rather than divine intervention. Despite these challenges, Joseph's piety and the numerous reports of his miracles led to his beatification in 1753 and canonization in 1767 by Pope Clement XIII. Today he is remembered not only for his miraculous levitations, but also for his deep humility and devotion to God. He is the patron saint of aviators, astronauts, and students. The Naparabo. The Naparabo, or faceless ghost, is a yokai from Japanese folklore that is said to appear as a human being with a disturbing twist. Its face is a complete blank, with a smooth surface where the eyes, nose, and mouth should be. The Naparabo first gained widespread recognition during the Edo period in Japan, which lasted from 1603 to 1868. Folklore from this period is rich with tales of supernatural beings, and the Naparabo stands out as one of the most unsettling. The creature is often depicted as a harmless ghost that enjoys scaring humans. It typically appears late at night, in lonely or secluded places such as forests, riversides, or abandoned streets. One of the most famous stories involving this yokai is known as the Naparabo and the Koi Pond. In this tale, a man walking along a deserted road at night encounters a weeping woman by a pond. When he approaches to offer help, she turns around, revealing her faceless appearance. Terrified, the man flees to a nearby soba noodle shop, only to discover that the shopkeeper and the customers also have no faces. Another well-known story is the faceless ghost at the Rashomon Gate, which involves a samurai who encounters a woman washing clothes at the gate. She too reveals her faceless visage, causing the samurai to run in fear. These stories have been retold in various forms, including books, films, and theater, each adding to the legend of the Naparabo. The origins of the Naparabo legend are a mystery, with several theories attempting to explain the phenomenon. One theory suggests that the stories were created as a form of cautionary tale to discourage people from wandering alone at night or into dangerous areas. This would have been particularly relevant in the Edo period, when travel could be perilous, and encounters with bandits or wild animals were not uncommon. Another theory posits that the Naparabo is a manifestation of deep-seated fears and anxieties within Japanese society. The facelessness of the Naparabo can be interpreted as a symbol of loss of identity or dehumanization. In a culture that places a high value on social harmony and conformity, the idea of losing one's identity or encountering someone without an identity could be profoundly unsettling. Others have posited the creature is just simply creepy, as a human without a face naturally offends our sensibilities. However, this doesn't explain why this yokai appears so prominently in Japanese culture, while similar beings either don't exist or are not prominent elsewhere. Still yet, others propose that this is a real creature, and importantly, it was accepted as a real creature for the vast majority of its history. That said, given the lack of apparent sightings today, the veracity of the creature has to be drawn into question. Still, others propose that stories of the Naparabo are linked to psychotic breaks, wherein a person in a delusional framework perceives people as having no faces. Despite its eerie nature, the Naparabo is generally considered to be a benign spirit and does not harm its victims physically. Instead, it derives satisfaction from the fear and confusion it causes. Ganesha drinking milk. On September 21st, 1995, an extraordinary event captured the attention of people across India and beyond. The phenomenon known as the milk miracle began early in the morning when a devotee at a temple in New Delhi offered milk to a statue of Ganesha, the elephant-headed Hindu deity. Astonishingly, the milk seemed to disappear, as if being consumed by the idol. Word spread rapidly, and soon temples across India reported similar occurrences. This event drew massive crowds, causing a national sensation and international intrigue. Reports emerged from various cities including Mumbai, Kolkata, and Chennai, as well as smaller towns and villages. Devotees would spoon-feed milk to the statues, which seemed to drink it. This led to an unprecedented outpouring of devotion, with people standing in long lines to witness and participate in the miracle. Various theories emerged to explain the milk miracle. Devotees and believers saw it as a divine sign, a manifestation of the gods accepting their offerings. Many interpreted it as an auspicious event, a blessing from the deities during a time of great devotion and faith. This belief was bolstered by the fact that the event occurred simultaneously in numerous places, suggesting to many a supernatural cause. Skeptics and scientists, however, offered more rational explanations. One prominent theory was capillary action, a scientific phenomenon where liquid can flow into narrow spaces without the assistance of external forces. According to this theory, the surface tension of the milk and the material of the statues, typically made of stone or metal, facilitated the absorption of the liquid. The milk would be drawn up into the microscopic pores of the statue's material, creating the illusion that the statue was drinking it. Investigations by various scientific bodies, including the Indian Rationalist Association, sought to demystify the event. Demonstrations were conducted to show how capillary action could replicate the effect. Additionally, some observers noted that excess milk often accumulated at the base of the statues, indicating that it was not being consumed but rather flowing down and collecting there. Despite the scientific explanations, the milk miracle left a lasting impact on the cultural and religious landscape of India. For many, the event reinforced their faith and provided a tangible connection to the divine. Temples reported increased attendance and offerings, and the event was commemorated in various ways in the following years. The phenomenon reoccurred on several occasions after the initial event. On August 20th, 2006, reports of statues drinking milk surfaced again, though the scale was much smaller. Its occurrence, impact, and the theories surrounding it continue to intrigue believers and skeptics. Make sure to check out the YouTube membership and Patreon. You can support my channel for as little as 99 cents a month. Also, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't done so already. Shout out to my patrons Noah Schubert, Iced Mocha, Kurt the Squirt, Monoxide Wendigo, Jeffer Metcalf, Z-Volts, Director Delta, Unknown Delusions, Faye, Jack Russell, Boomslang, Spookiest Becky, and Blasphemoose. Big shout out to YouTube member Jordan All. Until next time, stay safe and healthy. Peace out, everyone.